if you fly over these areas that are burned to the ground, you'll see in the midst of 20 homes that are just totally destroyed, one home sitting there because it had the right roof on it. And anyway, since I took off...
Joe Biden is warning his supporters to get the right kind of roof. What does he mean by that? Flame retardant or something else? People on the ground are getting a different perception as they scurry to paint their roofs blue. We're looking at footage from Cape Coral, Florida, and it's just amazing to see how many people have already painted their roofs blue since the Maui catastrophe. People are getting the message, and it's not just in America, it's worldwide. We're going to be looking at all of these people that are painting their roofs blue. But the question is, why? Why are they painting their roof blue? Obviously, the Maui situation has shed light on something. There's something going on that people need to be aware of, to say the least. And we're not sure if the video guy is going to be successful here trying to help you understand the nature of the problem. But basically, there's directed energy weapons that are raining down from the sky. And it's not an isolated incident. This is just some of what's out there. This is just a sampling of the technology that's out there. We're no longer in the 1950s. The future has caught up with us, to say the least. And essentially we're looking at a new world with directed energy weapons everywhere. And people are wondering what's causing these fires in Texas and the like, especially after they're basically pushing to close the borders and oppose the New World Order and the federal government. And it looks like there was some retribution there, and people are just amazed at the damage. But this is basically why people are starting to paint their roofs blue, because they know that government is vindictive and they're coming after you if you speak up against this system. We no longer have a democracy. We no longer have a republic. We no longer live in a free country. And our elections are no longer free or fair, and so on and so forth. And it's only getting worse as time goes on. Let's look at some of these other countries that are painting their roof blue. Basically, the phenomenon seemed to have started in Asia. Many people have probably noticed this for themselves, scouring the maps in the Far East. They basically all have blue roofs, and you have to wonder why. Obviously, when you think about the pandemic, there's a lot of coordination and cooperation happening between the two sides of this Cold War, and so it makes you wonder exactly what's going on. At first they rolled out the 5G, then came the COVID, and it basically started with a cover story in the Far East. But here we're looking at footage from basically all around the world. People are starting to paint their roofs blue because they understand something. What they understand is hard to say, because directed energy weapons are like a fringe science, and most people are unaware of what's really out there. But basically, we're looking at energy beams raining down from the sky from planes, blimps, hot air balloons, and even satellites, if you think satellites are a thing. But basically, we're getting attacked from high altitude, from orbit, if you will. And people on the ground are just sitting ducks. And it's not just energy weapons that are burning things to the ground. They're using energy weapons to basically microwave people and to make them sick. This is how the COVID pandemic started. And these death towers are basically a Trojan horse in everybody's neighborhoods, not only making your neighborhood sick, but targeting you as part of their social credit score system. And this is something that people really need to understand. We are surrounded by a death grid. There's no escaping it. And people are reporting attacks from cell towers worldwide. and there's no running from this death grid. They were quietly rolling out this infrastructure while we were busy scrolling the news, going from one crisis to another. And when they finally locked us down, they were basically putting the cherry on top. And everybody saw death towers mushroom around them like nobody's business, to say the least. In any case, we are now surrounded by militarized energy weapons that are targeting people based on their political profiles or their religious beliefs. This has been confirmed over and over again, and there's a high degree of confidence that this is happening. And it's just part of the overall eugenics program. They're spraying us like bugs. They're poisoning the food, the air, and the water. And it doesn't stop there. They're releasing bioweapons. They're injecting people with toxic vaccines. And of course, now they're irradiating people with death towers and other technologies. And what we're seeing on the surface, what we're seeing on the ground in terms of these cell towers is just the tip of the iceberg. Not only have they weaponized everything on the ground with smart infrastructure, but basically they've weaponized planes. Boeing is a major manufacturer of directed energy weapons. They've weaponized blimps, satellites, if you want to go there, and they've weaponized these deep underground military bases that can hit targets on the surface. And this is something that people aren't even suspecting, and they don't even see it coming. You might be worried about, these directed energy weapon fires that we're seeing everywhere. You might be worried about Maui, or will you be next? But you should be really worried about these death towers and technologies that are associated with it. Solid state emitters, diodes, beamforming cell towers, and the like. There's a whole list and range of technologies that basically don't require moving parts. They're all based on semiconductors, kind of like LEDs and the like. And now the technology can basically be placed anywhere. And it doesn't have to be very big either. And so this makes the situation all the more dangerous for people on the ground trying to survive this genocide. And it is a genocide, and the plan is more nefarious than you might think. It's not just about getting people to vote Democrat or getting people to stay in line. This is about a transhuman agenda that means to assimilate humanity. And if you're not aware of the transhuman agenda and the brain chips and the mark of the beast that's coming, you need to discover what this system has in store for you. And that's why we recommend this book, Transhuman Genocide. It talks about the agenda, it talks about the scenario, it talks about the energy weapons, and most importantly, it talks about the EMF shielding that you can make and deploy to protect yourself. We're dealing with military-grade weapons, and you need military-grade shielding to survive what's coming. If you think it's bad now, just wait to see what happens next. Unfortunately, you can't buy military-grade armor anywhere online. You have to make it yourself, and this book has all of the recipes that you need to make military-grade shielding at home with supplies that you can find online. It offers real solutions, and it's not just talking about theoretical stuff. Books like this run up to $1,000 online. We've made it dirt cheap so that people can survive and so that they can fight this system. You can find it on Amazon, either as an ebook for Kindle or as a paperback, and you can get it on our Patreon as well, Transhuman Genocide. It goes through everything you need to know about what's going on, and you can read a free sample on Amazon and decide for yourself. You can even order it and send it back. You have 30 days over there to make sure that you're happy with this book, but this is the most comprehensive guide to what's going on, and it will save your life. And this is why we're putting it out there to as many people as we can. Get it while it's still available, Transhuman Genocide. You can find it on Amazon or on Patreon because the threat is real. These people are out to get you. They're trying to starve you. They're trying to kill you. And it's not your imagination. They even had it on the Georgia Guidestones before they had to blow up the evidence like 9/11 because people are catching on to what's going on. That's why they're trying to silence and censor everyone. They don't want people understanding what's happening. They want people to think that COVID is all about a virus, but it's really all about these cell towers. The technology is the virus, ladies and gentlemen. And if you want to survive the transhuman genocide, you better start preparing now because time is running out. If you're listening to this, you are the resistance.